Well, look at this, today's little project. A Verona, single head Verona Express espresso machine. Came with two group head handles, I should say, so Verona one group automatic espresso machine. So it came to me with a problem. The problem is that apparently it leaks. I've just weighed it. It weighs 31.2 kilos. It's like 65 pounds. So I'm going to do a bit of a teardown, show you guys what's inside, and also that's 1 and 2. So obviously very, very heavy commercial baskets. Now that 31.2 kilos, I'm pretty sure the boiler is full, and the boiler in these babies, a 1.5 kilowatt boiler by the way, the boiler in these is 3 litres. So take off the top, take off the cover, start front, start to see some goodies, steam wand out of the way, and the drip tray. So normally this 3/8 fitting would poke out through there, and these are designed to be fully and permanently plumbed. So what do you get? You get a steam wand, hot water deliverer, that's your drip tray there, that's your BSP 3/8 fitting that comes through there. I just went to good old Bunwaz and got some basically a 3/8 to 1/2 inch adapter so I could run it to a garden hose and give it some pressure. We've got some bits and pieces inside. Got our 120 watt pump. There's a rotary pump at the back there, and you can see that the cold water goes straight into the back of the pump, and then essentially we come out through a switching solenoid into this colossal 3 litre boiler. That's the blow off valve, and this is the supply and return into the group head there. So that goes into the group head. That one clearly is the steam wand. This goes into the hot water delivery system, and what you'll find when I fire it up, you'll see what happens. There is a startup procedure for these. You've got, and I'll show you, I'll walk you through that. Basically you've got 1 cup, 2 cup, multiple cups, multiple cups. So these are all fully programmable, and then that's constant water flow. Anyway, I'll show you what happens when you turn the power on. So I actually find this pretty hilarious. This machine was probably, I'd guess, maybe 2,500 to 3,000 Australian dollars, and you get, I kid you not, one page. That's all you need to use a coffee machine, huh?
No top speed, okay, 217, no more than that.
So basically, first time connection, it's got some pretty important instructions here that basically says once the machine is connected to the external switch, if you power it on and the boiler is not full of water, you'll kill it, because the boiler element will be operating in air and it'll just burn itself out because it needs water to self-regulate. It's not very smart, no thermocouple control. So you need to turn it on. It's unplugged, so I can do this. You need to turn it on, and at the same time hold in this little switch here, button 8 on the instructions, and that disconnects the heater element. So you turn it on, you hold that in, you wait till the boiler fills. Apparently the motor, the pump motor, is meant to start, and then when the pump stops, you know the boiler is full, you can take your finger off the button there. The red light will come on, which says that the heating element is lighting up, and then you can start making yourself some coffee. And after maybe 15-20 minutes, you've got to remember these are meant to be left on all the time, all day, every day. That should come up to about maybe a bar, and 100 kPa, 15 psi, and then yeah, off you go, making coffee. Righto, 243 volts, pretty good, about what we expect for Australia. Now I'm just going to put this little clamp over that switch, just so that it can't possibly activate, and I can video while I'm talking. So if I turn this on, can't quite see it, but in there the green LED is lit, the red one is not lit. And basically if I cycle through functions, we are drawing no watts at all. Now if I quickly disable the switch, what you should see is the heating element start to come on. There we go, 1518 watts. And I'm just going to turn that off because I don't know. Yeah, I'm just going to activate that switch again, like that. That goes back to 0. So I've done that because the motor, which is meant to come on when this thing fires up to tell me that the boiler is full, the motor is not coming on. So it's either because the boiler is already full, which is the way that it left the place where I got it, or because there's some sort of fault. So what I think I need to do is to essentially take off one of these fittings here and make sure that that boiler is full before I play with it anymore. I've got my dodgy little element protection button pressed in. I'm just going to put the grip handle in. Gosh, doesn't that feel weird with one hand? And even though the element is disabled, the functions still work. So I can show you. Oh, sorry. How about I turn that on? I can show you that. There we go. That is one shot, and I'll show you that it's one shot. 40 mils, perfect. So if I get rid of that and do that again for 2 shots, now all these buttons are completely programmable apparently on this unit. I haven't done it. This is basically how it came to me. So this is the pre-programmed amount, 90 mils. That's probably a little bit much for a double shot, but at least the pump is working. I just have to work out what is going on with the boiler and the element. Now if I press this, that just runs continuously. Okay, so water is disconnected down there, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to unscrew this, which is connected directly into the boiler, just with a shifter. I've got some thread tape so I can seal that up again, and all I really want to do is crack that off. So there's no pressure in here now because it's not connected to anything, and there's no check valves in this system. Got another bloody phone call. And I just want to make sure this boiler is full of water. There is actually a drain, and I went looking for this and I found it. As you can see up there, there's a little drain plug on the bottom. Oh, that's probably where the leak is, where all that crap is around the discharge, the empty valve. But I could, if I undo that bung, then I can't tell if it's filling up properly, whereas if I undo this one and I put a bit of pressure on, I can see if there's water coming out the top. So I'm going to stick with this idea here. Alright, so there's definitely water in there, so I can tell. I just cracked that, and yeah, you can see water coming out of there under a tiny bit of pressure, so I'm absolutely convinced that there's water in the boiler. Just tighten that back up. It was pretty tight, but not rock ape tight. Now I can fire this thing up and see if it heats up. Alright, 6.5 minutes in, still drawing 1420 watts. The boiler is, oh yeah, getting nice and hot to touch. Feels maybe 60 odd degrees, just to the limit of holding a temperature on there. So getting up there, no increase in pressure. Heating element is still lit, and just taking this as an opportunity to give this thing a bit of a tidy up and a bit of a clean. And you got to say, stainless steel is just beautiful. If you get in nice and close, yeah, you can hear that thing starting to bubble away, so which is great. Now what I'm going to do, still no increase in pressure here, so it's not exactly boiling yet. I'm just going to hold this under here. I should really have the drip tray in. I cannot do two things at once. It's partly the chromosome, partly because I'm holding the camera. So I'm just going to drop a bit of water out, a bit of flush water, just to make sure the circuit is genuinely and properly full of water. Yeah, it's starting to heat up a little bit. Righto, so basically what it says is once you flush some water through, which I've done, it says the vacuum valve will close and the pressure gauge will increase until it reaches 98 kilopascals, which is 1 bar 1 atmosphere, observed by the pressure gauge, and then the element LED will go off, which it hasn't yet, and the machine is ready to work serving coffee, hot water and steam. So basically getting a little bit of steam or water vapour weeping out of the top of the boiler there. That has stopped weeping now and it's closed, that's popped out. We're at 14.5 minutes. The heating element is still going on and we are just starting to build a little bit of pressure. So that needle by rights should come up to 1 bar and then the heating element will turn off and we are good to go. Now with any pressure device, if it blows up, I want to protect my eyes. Alright, so we don't have long to go hopefully. Okay, 17.5 minutes in. Heating element is still on and we are just over 1 bar. So by rights this thing should stop. If it gets to sort of 1.5 bar I'll be concerned and I might turn it off. Okay, 18 minutes and 13 seconds and the element turned off and we're holding steady at, well, it's at 1.25 bar. I should be able to access at least, oh yeah, hot water. That's fantastic. If I move my phone, also point that out of the way, some steam. Woohoo! So there we go. And you can do both things at once. That's looking fantastic. Alright, this is a winner. I can turn the water off, turn this thing off and drop a shot because I'm not having a coffee at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So it's the next day, I'm just playing with this again and the idea really is to understand what the group head temperature is doing. And still I can touch that. If that was the temperature I wouldn't be able to touch that. It should be around about 80 odd degrees. So just curious to see what the water temperature is. Alright, we're at about 60 degrees. There you go, the pump's filling up the reservoir automatically that you can just hear. So everything's working well. And the tea water temperature is about 90 degrees, which is probably okay. I've just popped the drip tray cover off. There's the feed solenoid and you can probably see a little orange LED there. I'll just zoom in on that. I just want to show you that when you drain water out of the system, I'm just using a hot water tap now. You can see the solenoid in action there. So, just letting you know, that is a 58mm portafilter, which you'd expect, and I'm just going to drop this in. It's got about 12 grams, 10 grams of coffee in it, which is probably a bit much, but here goes. Okay, that is looking horrible. So I'll do another one. It's way too thin. Right, I don't have a go at me for using a mug, I'm just doing some testing, but I've really brought the grind down. I'm just going to drop another shot. It's going to be over extracted to buggery now, but I'm just having a bit of a play. So I turn the grind all the way down. I can see a lot of oil coming out there, and I'll steam my dodgy little 1 cup of milk and see how I go. Got to remember that I'm used to a dual thermoblock sunbeam unit, I'm not used to an E61 group head design, even though technically they operate at the same pressure. So it's metering out the water dose and we'll see how we go. Alright, looking like a flat white, even if it's in a mug. So I just want to show you that that is, you can see the indent in the top there, so that's too fine and it's overpacked and probably over tamped. But that's alright. First proper shot.
So I just want to point out that the only reason I made this video was because there was simply no information on this Verona one group automatic espresso machine, either the controls or basically the insides, how it worked, what it did and what sort of coffee it made. So here you go.